Russia's war budget continues to rely heavily on oil exports, but the United States has stepped up pressure on countries still purchasing the resource from Moscow. Political and economic expert Taras Zagorodnia told Glavard that such measures could leave Russia with sharply reduced revenues. In addition to oil and gas, Russia earns money from fertilizer exports, yet this sector is also under threat. Ukraine has already begun striking targets within Russia's chemical industry, raising questions about the future of this income stream as well. In essence, Russia has no other major sources of revenue. It lived off oil and gas sales, but the key European market is already gone. The Americans have moved in, Zagorodnia noted. Partisans have successfully sabotaged a critical railway junction near Rostov-on-Don, halting the delivery of equipment and ammunition to Russian forces operating in the southern direction. The ATESH movement reported the operation. According to ATESH, their groups continue systematically targeting key nodes in Russian logistics, disrupting command plans and slowing offensive operations. This time, the strike hit a junction near the village of Kalinino. This section is a vital link on the enemy's logistical map. It channels the main flow of rail traffic heading southwest toward the temporarily occupied territories. Every day, trains carrying equipment, ammunition, fuel, and personnel passed through this hub, the movement stated. During the operation, one of the main relay cabinets controlling the node was disabled, completely halting traffic along the route and forcing the Russians to seek alternative paths. ATESH emphasized that each such operation delays the enemy's advance and undermines its war plans. Every targeted strike on these critical links brings Ukraine closer to victory. This action follows a series of recent attacks, including one on the Arched station that damaged a traction substation and contact network. Across southern Russia, from Adler to northern rail stations, the network is under pressure. The Kalinino strike marks the 11th such operation, with most previous attacks aimed at traction substations in Kotelnikovo, Novocherkassk, Pishchanikopskoy, Timashevsk, and others. The southern corridor of Russian railways, connecting to the main Black Sea ports and bypassing the Krasnodar hub, is a strategic bottleneck, with only two key alternatives, Timashevsk and Tikhoretsk. Both have been targeted. Last year, this route moved 275 million tons of cargo, more than any other region in Russia. While grain and oil dominate the flow, it also carries fuel, spare parts, fertilizers, seed stock, explosive precursors, and imports from the South Caucasus. Crucially, it supplies both military and civilian needs in the occupied Luhansk and Donetsk regions. Any disruption to this network delays raw materials to factories, ammunition and fuel to the front, and leaves sorting stations clogged with crude oil and grain. With Moscow heavily dependent on the railways, partisans say their objective is clear: keep striking until the pressure becomes unbearable. Russia's Foreign Intelligence Service has claimed that Ukrainian forces are preparing sabotage operations targeting the Russian tanker fleet in open waters. While the primary concern reportedly lies in the Baltic Sea, Russian officials say fears are also rising in the Black Sea. According to the agency, On August 7, 3 unmanned boats were detected along the route of the Russian-flagged oil tanker Anna as it sailed toward the Bosphorus Strait from Krasnodar Krai. By the end of the day, the vessels had moved northeast from the Kuban coastline and were positioned about 250 kilometers southwest of Sevastopol, reportedly in a waiting area, with their satellite antennas switched off. Russian media outlets alleged that the pattern of movement suggested Ukrainian naval drones were monitoring shipping routes of Russian merchant and cargo vessels passing through the Bosphorus. The group allegedly included naval drones equipped with anti-tank guided missiles, FPV systems, and one kamikaze-type drone fitted with an enhanced warhead. It is possible that the Ukrainian armed forces, with the involvement of British intelligence, are preparing to use these naval drones against Russian oil tankers as part of a plan to later accuse Russia of causing an environmental disaster in the Black Sea, Russian media claimed. They also asserted, citing unnamed sources close to the office of the head of the Kyiv regime, that Ukrainian intelligence is currently focused on operations aimed at disrupting an anticipated meeting between the presidents of Russia and the United States in Alaska. The claims come against the backdrop of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, which has triggered some of the most significant shifts in military doctrine since the advent of air power and nuclear weapons in the 20th century. For more than 3 years, both countries have been locked in a daily race to innovate, with unmanned systems increasingly dominating the battlefield. This drone war is now being fought not only on Ukrainian soil, but also deep inside Russia and at sea. Despite Russia's larger resource base, Ukraine's tech industry and agile startup culture have allowed Kyiv to mount a formidable challenge. Recently, Ukrainian Defense Intelligence Chief Kirill Budanov unveiled the Magura 5th-7 unmanned marine vehicle, built domestically and armed with 2 anti-aircraft missiles. Designed for extended operations at sea, the Magura V7 is reportedly capable of hunting Russian aircraft for days at a time. According to Ukrainian officials, the platform has already proven its combat value, allegedly downing 2 Russian Su-30 fighter jets over the Black Sea in early May. Budanov hailed the strike as an historic moment, saying it was likely the first time in history that military jets had been destroyed by unmanned naval platforms. While Russian authorities rushed to repair oil refineries damaged in earlier Ukrainian attacks, Kyiv delivered yet another heavy blow. Launching a fresh wave of long-range drone strikes, the Ukrainian military targeted key oil production facilities, disrupting one of Russia's main sources of revenue, Euromaidan press reports. This marks the resumption of Ukraine's strategic campaign against Russia's energy infrastructure after a deliberate pause. Over the past month, Ukrainian forces had focused on neutralizing Russian air defenses and radar systems, patiently allowing Moscow to sink resources into repairing earlier damage. Once costly restoration work was underway and repair crews were fully engaged, Ukrainian drones struck again, inflicting severe economic and logistical harm while undermining Russia's domestic narrative of security. In Samara Oblast, long-range Lyut drones hit the Novokubishevsk Petrochemical Company, one of the largest oil processing plants in Russia. The attack heavily damaged its main oil refining unit, essential for turning crude into gasoline, diesel, kerosene, and fuel oil. With a daily capacity exceeding 177,000 barrels, the plant accounts for almost 5% of Russia's total refining capability, according to Euromaidan press. Another strike targeted the Ryazan refinery, the third largest in Russia, which processes 340,000 barrels per day. The facility produces 840,000 tons of aviation kerosene annually, nearly 9% of the country's total output, and directly supplies the Dyagilevo strategic bomber airbase, from which Russian bombers launch strikes on Ukrainian cities and bases deep behind the front. Footage from the scene showed massive fires and explosions, contradicting official Russian claims of minimal damage. These strikes deliver a serious blow to Russia's ability to sustain long-range air operations, while its already stretched air defenses continue to weaken under relentless Ukrainian pressure. Moscow has been forced to deploy outdated systems and accelerate missile production, leading to more defects. Recently, this desperation culminated in a friendly fire incident near Sochi, where a missile intended for a Ukrainian drone instead veered toward civilian areas, causing casualties. Meanwhile, Ukrainian drones also struck oil storage facilities in Sochi and Adler, igniting tanks at Lukoil and Rosneft depots. In Krasnodar Krai, Governor Veniamin Kondratyev confirmed that over 120 firefighters were dispatched to contain a blaze at a major storage site holding 2,000 cubic meters of fuel.